the same journey that you're on. And then the last part is you can then actually receive an investment for it. So that's like
So
creating
true.
content, giving an offer for people to now live the life that you are experiencing and the content that you're creating. And then you can receive from it and then allow them to do the same process you just did. So they're receiving a financial impact as well.
And let me, for the two people that are my friends that are listening, that we share the same life experiences. You're like, what did she just say? Let me paraphrase this for you. If it didn't happen on the gram, it didn't happen, right? Like, people want to see who you are, what you do. Nobody's going to your website. Like, I mean,
No.
if you have solid Google ads, maybe, but most of you don't. What? Listen to this. When you go networking, and Colleen, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you go networking, do people ask you for your phone number, or do they ask you for your Instagram?
Yep.
They ask you for your Instagram.
Exactly. And if they do even ask you for your phone number, I highly suggest you give your Facebook or your Instagram.
It's just weird now.
Well, because this is why I say, and this is a big business thing of why I see social media as a tool. So for me, I have friends all over the world. I have clients all over the world. For me to actually get on the phone and catch up with every single person, or to email or text every single new launch or new opportunity that I'm providing, I would be emotionally drained. It would be exhausting. So social media literally gives everyone to have access to you as an incubator of people, of what you're naturally sharing, who you naturally are in the world. And they can see that evolution of you, and you can inspire people when you don't even need to talk to them, text them, pick up the phone. They are going to be inspired by what you're choosing to share, and removing the draining energy that may be occurring in your life.
And you mentioned the evolution. When I first started thinking about using Instagram, I was like, I'm going to wait till I have this. I'm going to wait till this is perfect. And one of my friends who is not on social media, he's like, bro, people want to see the growth. And I get clients today from the post that I did 3 years ago because people see, Dom, like, you are killing it. We saw where you were in 2018. Now here you are in 2019. People love the growth. It doesn't have to be perfect. You threw it out there, the evolution, and we have about a minute before we go to break. I want to talk about your evolution, right? And where you were 5 years ago.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay, let's go 2 years ago. And so where you were last year before last, where you are now, and then where you're going.
Yes.
Right. So if you're just tuning in, again, my name's Dom Fawcett, your host, here every Wednesday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Think React Lead Radio. That's Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. And again, if you have questions, feel free to ask them on Facebook. We're live right now. Facebook, Dom Fawcett is my Facebook page, or you can DM me on Instagram, which is Dom Fawcett, or heck, you can just call in 602-277-KFNX, or feel free to check out my website, domfawcett.com. And, I want you to do this. This is my ask or challenge of you. I want you to post on your Instagram page a picture of you. And if you're uncomfortable posting a picture, find a post that you like, screenshot it or share it. You can share it from your Instagram page to your page, and just do that. And then in the comments, write what it is. Like, what did that mean to you? So again, Dom Fawcett, Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, and we'll see you on the other side. All right, welcome back to the Think React Lead radio show. I am your host, Dom Fawcett, where every Wednesday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. we do the Dom thing, exactly. Here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX, you know what? We're going to get this show back on the road. We're in here with my friend, coach, speaker, world traveler, jet setter, Colleen Gallagher. Now, Colleen, let's talk about your journey. Where'd you come from? And the reason I'm bringing this up, people, for those of you just tuning in, is because right before break, she mentioned evolution. Mm-hmm. And I want to know what Colleen's evolution was. Like, who were you 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, so I would have been, 22 years old.
22 years young.
Young. I was just leaving corporate in America. So I had my 6-figure job. I worked for a $23 billion company as a sales engineer. Left that, decided to move across the world to New Zealand to fulfill my dream to live international. But I'd already been to other countries, just I wanted to work internationally. So I then went over there, got a job with a $400 million company within 4 weeks. And then I realized I was kind of climbing a ladder again. And I was like, this isn't exactly what I want.
Looks familiar, feels familiar. Right.
And I was like, I really want to travel on my terms. Like, I want to travel and impact people in the way that feels good to me. And so I went to my first entrepreneur retreat in November of 2017. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And so I wrote my first book. I left with $5,000 in my bank account in January 2018 and said, you know what? Here we go. I'm going to travel the world while I create an online business and empower many other people. And I made it to 11 countries, 28 cities. I started my master's. I've empowered many other people to start social businesses or conscious businesses, all leveraging social media. So that's why I tell you, like, the power of social media. Like, I remember sitting in my friend's room because I had 2 months where I didn't pay for rent. Like, I was figured it out.
Right.
Where I was staying with 2 friends. One was in California, one was in Arizona. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to figure this out. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I have my 6-week program. I have my book. I'm going to just share about my 6-week program.
You have what you need.
I had it on ClickFunnels. I had everything figured out. I had my workbooks, and I just kept posting on social media and being like, I'm so excited. I'm just on my journey. And I remember my first client I got.
Tell us about it. I know it felt good.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It was $997. And it was for a 6-week program. You got 6 one-on-one calls with me, plus 5.5 hours of video content, plus my book, plus PDF workbook.
Over-delivering, but we all do that at first.
Way over the top. And I was like, oh my gosh, someone believes in the vision
exactly.
of love. And I was so happy. And I remember this person was able to actually just leave their job, and they were actually they wanted to be a real influencer and get things sponsored from them. And I remember they got their first sponsorship from a makeup brand. And I was like, how did I even do this? I don't even know.
Powerful.
And I just remember it's because I really believe I can tell you the 3 steps of here's the ClickFunnels, the MailChimp, the books to read. I could tell you that. And what I really believe of why my clients are so successful, why I've been so successful, is it's truly a practice of being present with your heart. It's truly a practice of being present with what are you truly feeling? What are you truly desiring? It's not looking at, a president or a political leader or a other entrepreneur or a sports person,
somebody you think you're competing with.
Yeah, and I've done that before. I've been in opportunities where I was with mentors that I was subconsciously doing that, and I've done it before. And I feel that the practice you have to remind yourself is you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and just sharing that moment on social media, sharing every moment of you, the vulnerable moments, the strong moments, the exciting moments, all of those moments are what the world needs. The world doesn't need people numb. The world needs people that are with their hearts open, with their feelings being expressed. And when you do that, then when you go on social media and you create an offering, or you say, you know what, I just went through this amazing experience, or I decided to travel the world and now I can teach you how to do it. People now have this whole journey of who you are, which makes you credible. Of not only are you this, social media person, you have this philanthropy part about you. You have this hardship that you've overcome. You have these amazing clients that you're assisting. You have these amazing allies like Dom that you have all these different things that you start to create in your life because you've chosen to be present with how you're feeling and who you're being, and that creates just these opportunities. But when you feel that, when you have that, you're sharing those moments on social media.
And you mentioned opportunities. Mm-hmm. Everything you just mentioned is being self-aware. Everything you just mentioned is forward movement.
Yes.
For those of you that, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this, well, you probably don't even have time, but if you're watching the news, for what?
Yeah.
If you are focused on what's going on, the injustices, like all of them, for what?
Mm-hmm.
There's no, understand who you are first before you try to tackle a social issue.
Mm-hmm.
Understand who you are first before you try to get involved with something that is not going to help you and your household. And if you understand who you are before you do any of this, when you start, you get comfortable with who you are. And people are going to either like you or they're not. And we've heard people say, well, I get all this negative feed in my Facebook feed. Well, I've never had that happen.
Again, back to the question. Where are you being negative on yourself?
Exactly.
Back to the question, like, where have you not accepted and loved that part of you? And I get it. And it's not like a judgment on me saying it. I'm just truly telling you, like, when you look at the laws of physics, when you look at the laws of spirituality, these are just very simple laws that, like, everything that you choose to perceive. And even in my book, I talk about this with cancer. You know, I had a guy that came up to me and he said, you know, you're ugly. Did you try to kill yourself? You know, did a guy try to choke you out when you were having sex? Like, I've had these things when I was a teenager said to me.
Wow.
And I remember I had so much anger. And I remember that I had to sit back and remember that those people, that was a cry for connection. Someone's coming to you and they're being negative. It's a cry for connection. They just don't, they're so numb. They don't know how to do that. And so when you're asking me, when you're telling me if someone is, you know, social media is negative, to me, it's a cry for your soul desiring to connect with you.
Right.
And so social media is the fastest tool, I promise you, to accelerate you if you're truly living in alignment with who you are, if you're truly living whatever you want to call it, God, source, universe, plan. If you're living in that alignment, social media will let you know. It'll have the clients come. It'll have the collaboration.
And you got to be consistent.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I'm talking daily. And I've mentioned this several times. Last year, because at the end of every year on Instagram, you can find out how many times you posted. 712 times on my primary page. That's one video a day. That's one post a day. I noticed a huge shift in my business come January. Because although I'm not competing with people, because I ask myself in the morning, what more can I do? And because I ask myself at night, what more can I do? And most of people like us learn to embrace being uncomfortable, but we don't call it uncomfortable. We just call it movement.
Exactly.
How do you move throughout the day?
You know, it's something I've really tailored with, and I'll go into it very briefly, just masculine, feminine energy. We all carry it. We both have it. And, you know, there's a difference between what you've been sort of doing and being. And I feel that's a really big essence of what's going on in the world right now is if you are actually truly being who you are in every moment, that's going to give you the inspiration to do the post, to do the video, to go to the event instead of being like, oh, I have to do this. If you're going, I have to do this.
Oh my gosh, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, you're good.
I hear
that's
that all the time.
That's then you're not living in your soul alignment, or you're making it about you or the money. Because if it was really about serving other people, you'd like, for me, like, I know I have so much knowledge. I know I have so much passion. I have so much love. So much, like Dom says, like, you can feel the positivity when you're with me. Like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, I have so much to give. And so if I'm not offering that to the world in some capacity, like, who am I to be doing that? Like, that's robbing other people of an experience of work that I've had to do. And if I can change just one person's trajectory, one person's life in a small way, that's enough. And I think another thing that's important about social media is think of the little, you know, think of the kid or the person, the friend, the daughter, whoever, husband, whatever you want to think of this person as, that's in a rural area that has had no different. And then all of a sudden they see, you know, you like grasshoppers, and there's a whole grasshopper.
Oh my gosh, I love grasshoppers. Join our Facebook page.
They're so, I swear to God, the amount of Facebook pages they see that are everything. I'm like, I don't even know if we can create a new one. But
we can't.
We always, well, you always can, but it's like, I just look, and so that's when when you really tap into like, you can't do it or you can't this, like, okay, but why are you blocking your own dreams? Like, ask, you know, just sit there and ask, just like, I'm open to receive. Like, what is it you desire me to be? Give me the things. And even a lot of my friends now, including Dom, like, I've met majority of my friends from social media that are now in my closest circle that, like, we truly have each other's back.
Right. And we're going to talk about that briefly when we come back from break. Many of you don't use social media because you don't have support. But I can tell you right now, when you start to support yourself, people will meet you where you've met yourself. And then they will begin to adapt your strategies for self and think, oh, wow, Dom's supporting himself. Let me support Dom too. But if you're not supporting yourself, listen to this. nobody else can support you because they can only meet you at the level in which you are currently at. And if you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Dom Fawcett, here in studio with Colleen Gallagher, here on the Think React Lead radio show on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Feel free to call us at 602-277-KFNX, and we will talk to you on the other side. Fawcett, where every Wednesday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. we do the Dom thing here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. If you're just tuning in, feel free to reach out to me on my website, domfawcett.com, Instagram at domfawcett. You know what? Heck, everything's Dom Fawcett. So we've talked about a lot, and we scratched the surface of social media from just its physical presence, but we went very deep on from a social media perspective and what it does for a person and for their business. And we're going to talk about Colleen's. I want to understand what her perspective is on where social media is going. Well, one, before we even do that, where can people find you?
Yes, so you can find me. I mean, my website is colleengallagher.co.
I like that.
Or I have Facebook, which is /the Colleen Gallagher.
Of course, because you are the Colleen Gallagher. I got him tracking what you're laying down.
Or my Instagram is Colleen_Gallagher_. And I'm with pink hair, so I don't think there's many of us out there.
Your hair is always pink, right?
Not always. It just dyed it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you always do something with the sides?
Yes, I have. I'm getting a queen that's going to be
because you're going to their concert.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm an ex-cop, prior military. I've talked about that. And it took, sometimes it takes a lot of me to accept people as who they are. And it's hard for me to be on. But when I first met Colleen, she saw me walk in to whatever place it was for some speaking event. Yeah. And you're like, hey, Dom. And I'm like, oh, what in the world? Why? Like, how does she even know me? We shouldn't even be talking. And then from the moment she walked up and then we started talking. But I've learned, and I've said this on radio before, that diversity is huge. Diversifying your associations. If the people in your circle, closest circle, act like you, look like you, sound like you, believe like you, and think like you, you will never, ever grow. So thank you for being you. But where do you see social media going?
Yeah, so I mean, more and more, especially with my master's and my PhD, I look at social media and how it can be used as an education platform and tool. So when you look at more dynamic education systems, usually in developed nations, or we can use America as an example, it's like you go to school this time to this time, here's your math, your science, your this, but that's not really allowing the student what they actually love, what they actually thrive on, to specialize in what they really care about from a very young age. So when you create a education system that's digital based, you can actually increase literacy rates much quicker because people are now hearing and they're seeing, and they can place sound into the phone to see how they're doing.
True.
And so you're actually going to be increasing literacy rates around the world, which is huge, I think, for one. The amount of opportunities that you can give where people in third world developing nations don't have to go to a developed nation is going to increase massively. So I think that's huge. I think the other thing that's really huge for developed people in developed nations is the ad spend. I mean, you can make a reach, you can target your customers, you can literally create people out of thin air. Like I say, like out of my clients, out of my retreats that I do, I've literally created people. So I think that it's not necessarily that social media is going to be here no matter what.
It's not going anywhere.
It's an asset. So it's you want to think of it as intellectual property. You want to think of it, and people will go, oh, if I post things, people are going to steal things. No, not really. Like
three people following you, but anyway.
Well, yeah, it's your energy though. It's your essence of who you are. So even if I was to take the same thing that Dom did, it would be impossible. It wouldn't work. And if he tried to take what I like, it doesn't. It just doesn't work.
Could you imagine me like delivering a 60-minute class being you? I think that would just be hilarious. Like nobody's going to buy my program if I'm doing you.
Exactly. And so I think what I see more and more with social media is it's only going to allow people to grow their credibility, especially as you're a business owner. When you're traveling, when you're doing whatever, people are going to say, oh, I'm this person. It allows someone to go connect with you. And it's just going to allow you to breed the type of people you want to be around. And I kind of feel there could be, there's bad things about it as well. And I won't go into those, but there are some things with entering into markets that aren't ready for it that could create wars.
Some dissonance.
Yeah, war zones or different things. But overall, social media, when actually leveraged correctly and implemented correctly, it can absolutely change the trajectory of your life. It's going to change your environment quicker than any event's going to, quicker than any coaching program you pay into. That is the quickest self-help book to your discovery if you choose.
And I think, and you mentioned the quickest discovery or self-help book to your discovery. What I learned, speakers always ask, as a speaker's coach, they'll ask me, how do I find my message? I tell them, do a video a day on Instagram, because the content that you create, one of two things is going to happen. The content you create 2 years ago or today for 2 years down the road, you're going to see the evolution, and you're going to go through different things in life that are going to change who you are, and people are going to see that. Or you're going to be able to go back 2-3 years and see that, wow, I've really been consistent. Like I looked at it, I spoke over the weekend in Calabasas, and apparently on Facebook 2 years ago, today I spoke at an event called Meltdown in the Desert, and I noticed the aggression that I had during my talk then versus just, I was so jovial and nonchalant. I have a lot of dark stories, but I didn't go dark because it's not for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I noticed and we were just going to continue to use the word or theme evolution here. I've noticed a change in how I've gotten softer. Feels weird saying it, but I have. But that wouldn't have happened if I didn't continue to push leadership, if I didn't continue to push diversity. And I don't know how I got on relationship topics, but I have an awesome wife, so it just happened that way. But have you seen growth in just over the last 12 months in your messaging?
Absolutely. So, even when we talk about evolution, the very first time I ever did my Facebook Live video, oh my God, it was like...
Were you sweating?
Yeah, it took me 3 hours. It took me 3 hours to even do it. I still have it. But what's so beautiful in that video is I still talk about love. Yeah. Like, that was my thing. I was like, I always believe that we can transform this world with love. And I really believe when you heal yourself, you can heal the world. I believe that when you heal yourself, it allows you start with allowing your truest expression of who you are to come through, and that to be placed on social media to an incubator of people who are waiting to hear you, but don't even know that what the expression you're sharing is even possible for them.
So true.
And so that's why I think it's so important to start, even as a business, if you're, product, service, membership, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, you could be in law, even this is like totally woo-woo for you. This is like, you could be a lawyer, and think about how many people that probably could be receiving money from someplace right now, or they're doing something wrong, or how many people are in maybe a relationship that's not good for them. They're not saving finances in the right way. And by you not showing up on social media, by you not having that ad,
it's a disservice.
This person cannot know.
And you know what's funny? It's not actually, it's not funny. So both of my brothers are attorneys, and I hear this from attorneys, and then from finance people. Well, I can't attorneys because of the bar, or I can't because of this association. I'm like, I'm not saying you have to give actual law, but you can talk to the emotional aspects of things that happen with your clients. That's person to person, and everybody's on social media. Mm-hmm. How many times, I can speak for myself, have I been laying in bed next to my wife and we're just she has her phone, I have mine, we're scrolling through Instagram, but we're laughing at the same things. Mm-hmm. Like I've heard people say, you shouldn't be on social media with your spouse, it takes away time. but I think it connects us. Like my wife and I literally will laugh at the stupidest things on social media. Look at this. Now we know what each other's interests are. Now I know what to get her for Christmas because I know what she's looking at. What are your thoughts on two people being in the same place? Let's say bed right before they go to bed, and they're both on their phones. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think it's hard to say because I feel, like I said, everything is a moment by moment.
I would agree.
So I feel, though, if you're using it as a tool of avoidance, like I'm using this to avoid someone, then obviously, again, not
horrible
good.
idea.
But if I'm using this to be like, oh my God, this was the funniest meme and I just want to binge on this, like we're all human beings. Like that's funny. Like I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh my God, like, you know, we all need to be holier than thou.
Right,
like, no, like it's funny. Like there's some really funny memes sometimes. And sometimes you get lost and you go into hashtags and whatever, it happens. And that laughter, though, like think of that, even just having that moment to have a moment of laughter that maybe wasn't available to you without that. What a gift. What a gift that we're creating more laughter. And again, it's a tool and you get to choose which way you're using it. And that's your own practice. That's your own choice with how you are choosing to be who you are and impact the world.
And for those of you that are just tuning in to the Think React Lead radio show here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX, we just spent an hour with Colin Gallagher. I strongly suggest you either go to the KFNX 1100 website, you come back to my Facebook page, rewatch this episode, because we covered so much. And if we could write our conversation down in a book, it'd be a bestseller, but we already have best-selling books. And we're moving on to different things. But Colin, I want to say thank you very much for coming in to the studio and sharing your love, your wisdom, your knowledge with us. You know, everybody out there, I want to say thank you very much for coming on, for just embracing this journey with me here on the Think React Lead radio show. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But until then, we will see you next week here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX on the Think React Lead radio show. I am your host, Dom Fawcett, and I'll see you on the other side.